What I'd really like to do is in about 25 years' time, just do another tour of the same kinds of double act shows that we used to do, and I think it would work really well because I think that our double act was sort of, and a lot of double acts actually, are sort of predicated on what it's like being young bickering men, where you are very concerned about how my character's sort of very concerned about how he's seen in the way that an adolescent man is, and Rich's was like a sort of teenager trying to drive home the point, and we were 18 and 19 when we met, and so that was the relationship in that double act. And I think by the time, I was 30 when we stopped doing it. I think it was starting to not really ring true then, and it would be difficult to do it now because it just doesn't seem like it's right for 40-something men to be doing it. But weirdly, to do it in your mid-60s, I think would work really well because there's a sort of childlike nature. Older people become much more like that, stuck in the house together, sort of bickering, like Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon in The Odd Couple or something like that. So I think it would be really great to do it and much, much funnier. And I remember when we were in our mid-20s, we found a video for sale in a garage in Scotland of this double act, Francie and Josie, who were an example of that sort of regional phenomenon you get in Scotland, whereby a double act could be massive in Glasgow. It could fill the Glasgow Empire for 6 months and wouldn't even be known in Edinburgh. It's so regionalised, that old variety circuit. Anyway, they got back together sort of 40 years after they'd ever done a gig and had filmed it. And it was absolutely brilliant, because you could see them as 70-something men. The dynamic worked really well, the same way it did when they were young, but the middle ground seems a bit of a write-off. So there's one reason to not do it, is I don't think creatively it would go anywhere at the moment. I think Rich is better off on his own. He's been doing stand-up about 3 or 4 years now, and he's doing some really good stuff. And I've been doing stand-up nearly 25 years, and I don't really want to go and... I don't think there's much more to find out about the double act. I had about 4 years off stand-up from about 2001 to 2004, and even since then, in terms of what's broadcast or said on stage, in terms of content, the boundaries at the bottom of the scale have pushed a long way down. There's all sorts of things people can do and say now in terms of sort of shock value that you couldn't 5 years ago, and in a way it's become a bit of a dead zone. It's a bit of a cliche. I think the sort of shock stuff now, because loads of people are doing it, and so you can't really do that. I mean, I think I was sort of edging towards it at the end of this live show, where I sort of say that the most sort of taboo breaking thing you can do almost is to not be ironic and to try and be sincere about something. And I think next time I tour, which I think will be in about 18 months' time, I might make a conscious effort to make the show rather more almost sentimental, and thinking back to when I was a kid and I used to watch the sort of 70s, 60s wave of folk singer comedians on telly, like Mike Harding or Jasper Carrott or Max Boyce, and they'd often do quite straight folk songs in the middle of rather bawdy stories about an uncle's wedding or something. I'm wondering if there might be something in that. But also, in between now and then, I'm doing another TV show, so it depends what groundwork you can sort of lay there for people's expectations. One of the things I sort of worked out about 5 years ago, from a sort of business point of view, was that there was no way that what I did... Joe Springer the Opera brought this home to me. Right, it got all these great reviews and won awards, and all critics were saying it was great. But at the end of the day, you couldn't... There weren't enough people in the world that would have liked it to cover the costs of doing it, right? Likewise, when I used to be with this big agency, Avalon, they tried to tour everyone and charge everyone at the rates that they did the top acts, which meant you never quite made any money. Whereas when I left and cut everything back down to basics, I worked out I only needed to play to 5,000 people a year, and I could take 50 grand before tax, and that's a living. So actually, the thing was, if you could, instead of worrying about reaching loads of people, if you could do something that you thought had a minority appeal, but make sure that you didn't spend too much money on reaching that minority, then you've got an audience for life. And actually, the worry for me about doing the telly show was that if it wasn't any good, not only would I not get more people, but I'd lose the 5,000 that were already coming. As it happened, they're still coming, and more people have come as well, which is good. But actually, if you think about it, you know, if 5,000 people all give an artist £10 a year, that's fantastic. It doesn't even need to be that many. Whereas we're sort of people in bands and comedians are sort of made to feel by the infrastructure of people around them that also want paying that they need to hit some sort of big audience. But a small loyal audience where there aren't loads of overheads for advertising and whatever, you'll see more of it, and that enables you to do that and then get on with the next show. I do think out of all the different things I've tried, stand-up's the one I've enjoyed most, and it's the one that I've been able to do something less that's more distinctive in. So I imagine I will carry on, and also I've got over that. I've come through something which is, having been part of that generation in the 90s that were called, when Janet Street Porter said in 1990, she said, comedy's the new rock and roll. That seemed very exciting at the time. But the problem about rock and roll is it's very ephemeral, and its practitioners usually appear slightly ludicrous if they carry on doing what they do as they get older, unless you can find a way around it like Nick Cave has. But so there was always a sort of thing where you're kind of thinking, well, how will it work being older? And actually what I've found is getting heavier and greyer and older, it sort of allows me to people believe the persona more, that you could feel like that. Whereas when you're young, being a bit grumpy or cynical, it seems like an affectation. And to be wise when you're 25 seems precocious. But to do it when you're older, people sort of believe it more. So I think actually the best yet to come, really.